Okay, I am starting this recording by laughing. And okay, so joke of the moment. This is my first ever recording that I'm trying out. But what makes it even more interesting is I thought I was doing my first recording about 15 minutes ago. And I just noticed that I did not press the recording. I'm using my first the software online. Yeah, I'm trying out Riverside, and it's my first individual recording. And yeah, when you start, I press on the top recording. It brought me to this page. Do you want to start with your camera? Boom, start, and then all right, I see myself, and okay, I start talking, and then I ended up the recording thinking at the right moment after I had made the whole point, the whole analysis that I was making, because my work phone rang, and I'm going to tell you a quick joke. It was when they answered, I didn't recognize the number. And all right, hey, this is Amazon. He's probably speaking. All right, hey, cool. All right, Amazon. All right, yeah. How can I help you? Yeah, you have a package of that you ordered for Apple of 1,000. Oh, really great app. Yeah. Yeah, tell me about it. And he's asked me, was it you that ordered it? Yeah, that's me that ordered. All right, okay. So he tells me that, yeah, your package will be delivered soon. And of course, they hang up. It was a scam trying to get me to say no, it wasn't me, and then blah blah. Which I don't know plan what they had, but his plan failed. And yeah, maybe one the thought that I could get from this is sometimes when life brings you certain situations, I'm not gonna say to test you, but yeah, well, life knows how it does its stuff. But yeah, going along with it, slowing down, um, riding along without resistance makes it always makes it much better. Not the easiest thing to do, but definitely the one that will give us the best results. And without resistance does not mean running away. It does not mean avoiding. It does not mean not taking action or not engaging. It just means lowering the internal resistance as much as we can become aware of it. Because all of the time we get sucked up into moments and we only catch ourselves after, like when we look back, like what have I done? Why did I be here? Why did I allow myself to be so tense and react like this way? And it's never the best way. So I am going to share a little bit of, for the purpose of now, of course, intending to do a recording, the some of the thought that I said I would follow up from the end of my first recording, which is a little bit different from the main message of the first recording, but we'll start with this as I think I can link it up to what we've just experienced with lowering resistance and also being aware. And during my self-reflection this morning, meditation, there's a thought that came in that I've never really thought about. And of course, it's even though it's often referred to as one of the key things that we should do is being present, being in the moment, being aware of ourselves, being aware of how we're feeling, being aware of the observer. And that's right. And this big question always comes in. If you can be aware of yourself, then who is being aware of the observer? And we're always somewhat in this autopilot that we're doing things, we're reacting, we're beings of habit, and we're building those little reflexes that so that we make our life more easier, more mm, I'm not gonna say more automatic for the purpose of not seeing it as a mechanical thing, but with the purpose of being more efficient. And this is the purpose of a machine in general. It records, it has a memory, of course, PLC and everything, and but it records information so that it can be more efficient at what it is doing, at the task it has to do, especially if they're repetitive. And our body is the same way. We function the same way, where we learn different things and we automate them so that we can be more efficient at what we have to do. And yeah, but in the midst of all of this, there's still room to be aware of what's going on. Now, the interesting thing, or maybe trap that I was almost falling into that I noticed is you can there is an observer that once you see yourself, you see the observer start seeing the person that is driving, and then you would say, all right, so if I am not the driver, I am the observer. But of course, the other question is, who is the observer noticing the observer? But how far in the rabbit hole does this lead us to, and how beneficial it is to be going into this layers of observing who's observing who? And I think if there's a learning that we can get from it is the fact that first we have this ability to detach and observe from a different layers of realities. Not that we have to go down to it, but having this ability is something special. But maybe the main purpose and goal of this, of having this ability, is putting this, whoever this act that has this ability to be the observer, but to put the observer behind the wheel. And this is where I would say mindfulness, the fully concept of where the term mindfulness became, and being present and everything being in flow, it's putting the capability of the observer behind the wheel and being present with what's going on. So it's not being an autopilot doing what that you're doing and thinking in the future and observing, if you want, observing the future, but bringing this observer character, this observer trait behind the wheel so that there is no longer an observer. So it's not the observer going to sleep or being awakened and noticing when the pilot is driving, or when the observer goes to sleep, and then of course you're just an autopilot, you don't notice anything. So the first step is awakening to, yes, there is an observer capability. There is another state of being, state of presence that can see what is going on, but now it's putting this person behind the wheel. And this is another challenge that comes, and I'm not necessarily a challenge of the beauty, because the reason why I mention challenge is the distraction. Distractions is what takes us away from this. And even sometimes fear. We are we become a lot of time afraid to bring this observer behind the wheel. The observer is can be much more comfortable observing because he's not the one an autopilot. And when something scary might happen, we switch off. We switch off. We switch on the autopilot. We switch off the observer. Goes to sleep. Right. The term be awakening. Yeah. The observer goes to sleep. The autopilot kicks in. Whatever happens just happens. Boom. And then after that, we're okay. We wake up. What did you do? The blaming, right? What happened? Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. But we sometimes avoid this somewhat to dial down the feelings that we have to deal with in encounter if the observer is the one behind the wheel. Because in this moment there is, yeah, I was gonna say there's no longer the autopilot reacting automatically, but the beauty part of this is being in the flow is that we are actually creating and we are using the autopilot capability as tools to help us maneuver the present moment as it's developing, as it's unfolding. And this is where the what fully creates the term, the state of being fully present in being and flow. Now there's another I do want to touch up again on the first message that I had given in my what I thought was my first recording. Of course, I might be much more simpler and much more clear, direct on it, without giving the whole introduction of this dramatic introduction of me being having my first recording, and who knows if this is ever gonna air out, but we'll see. This is an attempt. I just got the feeling of wanting to express those thoughts from meditation and capture them with a desire to share. But I think that one of the best ways that we can learn and assimilate what we are learning, what we are seeing, is by having the capability to share. It's like you close up the deal. You close up the process of the learning by sharing. And yeah, so in my meditation this morning, trying to be fully in tune with myself, trying to be fully in tune with that feeling of presence. You know, when you're calming down and trying to find what is it that I want to get discomfort, when you're trying to kind of laser in inside to get this sharpness of mind, this clarity. And you know, it's like you're playing around. You can't quite find it, but you're exploring it. And in this exploration, the mind wanders around, right? But also the mind is also trying to help you get what you want. But the mind, the brain, well, how it does that is actually by activating this autopilot factor that we have, this beautiful capability that our brain has, which is going to its folder, its file of experience, its memory of experience, to pick up what are the experiences that gives you this feeling, that gave you this feeling or the closest to it, so that you could recreate it, right? Because the body wants this. It wants this feeling of attunement, so that we could be fully present and efficient in what we're doing, so that we can keep on growing, keep on living, keep on yeah, keep on doing what we. I'm not gonna say what we're meant to do, but at some point it all comes down to this. As much as we can be present, this is where we truly take the actions and do the things that we are meant to do. And we don't have to know what those things are. We just have to make sure that we're maintaining it, our state of being in the best alignment, so that we can be attuned to it. But yeah, so as I was meditating, my mind wandered around and started giving me the feeling of wanting to watch porn. Of course, I didn't, not that I wanted to watch it right now, but this was what my mind was telling me. Hey, if you watch this, maybe if you watch this, you know, if it'll give you that little feeling. And I did ask myself, why is it that this is what I want to watch? Why is it that this is what my mind is suggesting that would have to watch if we want to sit like that instead? Because I didn't know that I wanted it. But if the feeling is always pleasant, right? It's a distraction. It's a candy. Everything that's sweet. It happens to us with food. There's some people it's with a series. Some people it's with a book. But we all know that one of the most powerful feeling that a human body can have. One of them, but the basic that we all encounter and somewhat seek is the pleasure, with the thing that has to do with the sexuality. And of course, where it has all this energy that activates, but at the end, the real reason is because those are the moments where our body or mind or intention is the most focused in a single thing. So there is this explosion, this mixture of being focused with something that creates a desire that gives us a energy circulation and activation internally, which is whether it's blood flow, whether it's the hormone that you secrete, but there is it all comes down to having a combination of those stuff, but that is aligned with being focused in one single interest. And this is where this state of clarity that we search, where at the end, the state that I was searching for was finding that right balance so I could get on with my day, so I could be efficient, so I could be doing something productive, you know? It's like, what do I need to get the clarity? And this feeling came from this, from wanting to watch that, because the feeling of watching something, and of course, we all know that the end result, especially for you guys that has explored the magnificent realm of the semen retention, the power of the semen retention. If you don't know about it, definitely look it up. And if I can, think about it, now, if I might share some links that has given me some good info about it, I will. But the one that comes on top of my mind that I will definitely share is Mantak. And I think this has been a big fountain of knowledge from my introduction to this wonderful world of Taoism, and how the body recirculates this energy, which is the energy to give life. And yeah, making good use of it, not wasting it. So we all know that going back to the end result of watching porn, you end up by doing something you don't want to do, and it's like, oh, fuck, what did I do? Now, why did I do this? And you feel more depleted. So why does the mind want to do something that eventually knows it's gonna give it's this feeling of yeah, but it feels that it almost falls in the trap. But it's because in the up curve of that, before you get to that end action you don't want to do, you're at your peak of focus, your peak of attention, peak of desire, where you have this energy situation. And your eyes also becomes focused, or your mind's eyes become focused on one single thing. But the most beautiful thing that can happen is when you are no longer seeing it from our mind's eyes, but we're really seeing it from our eyes of what's happening. That's the feeling that the body is always seeking to give you again. Now, as a being of habit, in using your mind as a tool to make it more efficient, it will give you, hey, from its repertoire, this is what gives you this closest feeling. So therefore, it wants you to go do and do this. It's trying to help you. But of course, it's like money. We're trying to gain more money, because when we have more money, we have a certain comfort. But what the body is really searching for is the comfort. But it seems the money becomes like a bridge that we put as money is what's going to give me the comfort, or let me seek money. But in reality, what we want is comfort. So it's the same thing as this. So becoming aware of that, of course, allowed me to let go of it very clearly, but allowed me to really zoom in into this clarity, that this tool that allowed this awareness, recognition, that allowed me to share with all of you guys that, yeah, what we really matters is that sense of clarity, that sense of focusness into one single action, in putting in combination proper breathing, so that we can have the most oxygen from the little that we're immersed in, you know, with all the contamination on the outside. But yeah, it all comes to putting all of those in the best what is the best we can get out of what we have available. And definitely the eyes has a huge impact. And the more we can train it, the more we can train to allow our thoughts to, or allow the observer to be behind the wheel of, and the wheel is behind who's watching right now. This is when we get truly powerful with how we want to feel and with what we are capable of doing. So, all right, I think this is officially the end of this proper recording. It, I'm definitely gonna see how it's gonna turn out, and this is a message, a personal message to me. But yeah, I am grateful that I was able to use this moment and share those thoughts, reflect on those thoughts. That has given me a bit of clarity, more clarity on the daily thing that we want to do, and even for the sheer pleasure of sharing it with myself, but sharing it out loud, but voicing out, materializing this idea, materializing this energy form, and then putting it in the outside world. It's not gonna say it is a form of creation, and I guess to end with another thought that is just coming up is, we, as they say, that we're all created to God's image. We all have God inside of us, so we're all somewhat wanting to play the same game, right? Not the same game, but we all want to create. We want to do as our fathers, right? So it always comes down to, this pleasure that we get, and what gives us at the end pleasure in life is the ability to be able to create something, but to create something from our thoughts, something that makes us feel good from the thought purpose, and putting it into a form. And there is just a satisfaction into it. It's, hey, I've done this, I've created this, I've made this painting for those who are painters, but whichever the form it is, and I'm sure most of you YouTubers also might have this, or not YouTubers, video content, video making, picture taking people, create artists, you get this feeling of satisfaction once you've put into the external world something that you had in your internal world, to be able for others to see, and see a glimpse of what is inside of you the closest way possible that you can allow them to see as it is inside. Yeah. Thank you, folks.